Some people don't just sleep in a bed. They sleep hanging off the side of a cliff, and somehow, that's not even the strangest one. There are places you expect to sleep, and then there are places that make you question why anyone would. High above the ground, deep beneath the ocean, or somewhere in between comfort and complete absurdity. These aren't just unusual stays. They're real places people actually choose to spend the night. This is Places to Hang Your Hat. Bizarre Spots People Actually Sleep, Part 1. Skylodge Adventure Suites, Sacred Valley, Peru. High above Peru's Sacred Valley, the Skylodge Adventure Suites let you live out your fantasy of being a terrified hamster in a see-through cage. The rooms are transparent acrylic pods bolted to the sheer cliff face, dangling about 1,200 feet over the valley floor. To get there, you don't roll up in a taxi, you either climb a via ferrata, a fancy way of saying ladder of doom, or zipline in, like you're escaping a bad heist movie. Once inside, you get a bed, some lighting, and 360-degree views of how far you'd plummet if anything goes wrong. The pods sway ever so slightly in the wind, which is comforting only if you enjoy feeling like a goldfish in an earthquake. Bathroom breaks? There's a tiny private facility in the pod, but let's be honest, dangling over an abyss makes even brushing your teeth feel like an extreme sport. Guests describe the experience as life-changing, which sounds suspiciously like something you'd say after surviving a mild trauma. At night, stars look close enough to grab, and the lights of the valley twinkle like a taunt from the grounded and comfortable. The air is thin, the adrenaline's thick, and the silence is broken only by your own nervous laughter. It's an odd mix of serenity and sheer panic. Yoga breathing meets heart palpitations. Waking up there feels like a victory, though the descent back down might ruin the illusion. Still, for thrill-seekers, it's the ultimate bucket list sleep, a night between heaven, earth, and an engineering experiment. Honestly, staying at Skylodge proves that some people don't vacation to relax. They vacation to test gravity. Proof that in Peru, even bedtime comes with a safety harness. Capsule Hotels, Japan. Tokyo perfected the art of sleeping like a human USB stick, and capsule hotels are the result. Imagine rows of pods stacked like futuristic beehives, each just big enough for a mattress, a reading light, and maybe a mini TV. If you spring for the deluxe model, you don't walk into your room. You crawl in, pull down a shade, and suddenly you're a file being archived for the night. The design is pure Japanese efficiency. Every inch serves a purpose, and comfort is measured in cubic centimeters. The air hums softly with the sound of vents, like a spaceship's sleep chamber, and the faint rustle of exhausted commuters. Businessmen who missed the last train crawl into capsules like tired astronauts re-entering orbit, while tourists book them just to say they slept inside a glorified USB port. The walls are thin, so when your neighbor snores, you get the full Dolby surround sound experience. Immersive, but not optional. Still, there's something weirdly soothing about the uniformity. Everyone becomes the same size when the world shrinks to 6 feet by 3. Outside the pods, the communal areas sparkle, spotless showers, quiet lounges, vending machines humming like polite robots, offering instant ramen and energy drinks. There's a strict order to it all, a kind of bedtime ballet, where slippers slide and alarms whisper instead of ring. Climbing out in the morning feels like rebooting your human software, refreshed but faintly confused. For some, it's cozy minimalism. For others, it's an existential storage unit. Honestly, they prove that in the future, we won't need bigger dreams, just smaller beds. Proof that humanity's final form might just be neatly stacked and labeled. Giraffe Manor, Nairobi, Kenya. In Nairobi, Kenya, there's a mansion where the guests have long necks and zero sense of personal space. It's called Giraffe Manor, and every morning, endangered Rothschild giraffes stroll right up to your breakfast table like they own the place. They poke their elegant heads through open windows, batting their eyelashes as if auditioning for a luxury perfume ad. You can sip your coffee while a 12-foot giant steals your toast. The kind of theft you somehow forgive instantly. Built in the 1930s, the manor feels like a colonial-era film set, complete with ivy-covered walls, creaking staircases, and staff who smile like this sort of madness is perfectly normal. Each guest room has huge windows, designed not for the view, But for giraffe access, they expect snacks, and you will comply. The air smells like jasmine and hay, and every breakfast feels like a cross between high tea and a wildlife documentary. Tourists arrive dressed for Instagram, but leave covered in giraffe slobber and spiritual renewal. At sunset, the giraffes wander back to their sanctuary, leaving behind crumbs, hoofprints, and bewildered guests who swear it was all a dream. The manor itself glows in the golden light, like a painting that forgot to stay still. It's an experience equal parts fairy tale and farce, elegance with a side of drool. The staff say the giraffes have better table manners than some of the influencers, and honestly, the evidence supports that. In the quiet of the evening, you can almost hear the giraffes whispering gossip about the guests. Some travelers claim it's the only place on Earth where being licked by a wild animal feels like a privilege. And in the morning, when a long neck shadows your toast again, you realize you've been adopted by the herd. Proof that luxury is just breakfast until a giraffe joins the table. Icehotel Jukkasjärvi Village, Sweden. If you've ever wanted to live like Elsa from Frozen, but with worse insulation, ice hotels are your jam. The most famous one sits in Jukkasjärvi, Sweden, rebuilt every winter from giant ice blocks cut straight out of the Torne River. Each year it melts back into the water, then rises again like a frozen phoenix, which is poetic until you remember it's 23 degrees Fahrenheit inside. Guests sleep on beds carved from ice, topped with reindeer hides and thermal sleeping bags. Because sheets would be an actual death wish, even the chandeliers, bars, and drinking glasses are made of ice, so your cocktail stays cold, as if it had a choice. The silence in the rooms is eerie, thick and muffled, broken only by the sound of your teeth filing complaints. Rolling over too far in bed means smacking into a wall that's one bad decision away from frostbite. And yet, people pay hundreds of dollars a night for the privilege of pretending they're expensive meat in a walk-in freezer. Every suite is unique, designed by artists who sculpt entire rooms into icy cathedrals and surreal dreamscapes. One year, you might sleep beside frozen dolphins, another year under an ice chandelier shaped like a galaxy. The light inside shifts constantly, refracting through walls like nature's disco ball. Come morning, guests shuffle out to a warm common room, clutching mugs of hot lingonberry juice and questioning their life choices. Variations of these frosty palaces now pop up from Norway to Canada, spreading the trend like a cold virus with good branding. Honestly, ice hotels prove that luxury sometimes just means freezing your butt off beautifully. Muraka, underwater villa, Conrad, Maldives, Rangali Island. The Muraka is possibly the world's most indulgent sea-level flex, a multi-story villa, partly underwater, where your bedroom is below the waves and your deck above. Built in 2018, this $15 million villa lets you literally sleep with the fishes, minus the mafia connotation. Its underwater suite is encased in clear acrylic glass walls and ceiling, so you can wake up watching fish drift by instead of nosy neighbors, or the cruel red glare of an alarm clock. The entire underwater section was built in Singapore and shipped to the Maldives in one piece, essentially Lego for billionaires, carefully lowered into place by cranes and ambition. To get there, you take a private staircase or elevator, because even in paradise, stairs are for the poor. The lower level features a bathroom, lounge, and walk-in closet with full panoramic ocean views, making it the only place on Earth where brushing your teeth comes with a school of parrotfish for company. Upstairs, an infinity pool and sun deck offer a more traditional take on paradise in case you tire of pretending you're in The Little Mermaid. A private speedboat, personal chef, and 24-hour butler service round out the experience, ensuring you never lift a finger unless it's to post. The entire villa feels designed for people who look at aquariums and think, I could live in that. It's decadent, surreal, and slightly ridiculous in all the right ways. Even the Wi-Fi signal has to swim a bit to reach you. The Muraka isn't just accommodation, it's performance art for people who believe gravity and budgets are optional. Honestly, choosing the Muraka means you like your sleep served with a side of sea and just a splash of flex. Proof that luxury sinks deeper than we thought. Some people travel to relax, others travel to experience something completely different. And sometimes, that difference means sleeping in places that blur the line between comfort and curiosity. From cliffs to capsules to the ocean itself. There's no shortage of unusual places to rest your head, and there are plenty more still out there. We'll see you in the next one.